I love the walk. I love the sizzling swagger. It's incredible feeling the buzz in this building and just around this city talking about this team. We've seen it firsthand with Caitlin Clark. Her effect certainly strong here, also on the road as well, with the attendance and the energy that she draws. And this is a huge game tonight for Iowa and Maryland. Diamond Miller helps win the tip there for Maryland, a very undersized team due to who they lost in the offseason. Here is Miller. She will pull, can't hit the jumper, and Caitlin Clark with her first rebound of the contest. You see the Iowa starting five as they turn it over. Myers up the floor, couldn't finish the layup. The follow gets rejected, and it'll be out of bounds. Maryland basketball.
The number one key for Lisa Bluter and Iowa was to take care of the basketball. Maryland is so good getting out in passing lanes, stealing. They don't have great size, but they do have great length, and they use it defensively.
Yeah, that's what they've done, losing their size, is now Diamond Miller is going to get called for the illegal screen, so an early personal on Diamond Miller. But Brenda Frese had to totally adjust this offseason. Angel Reese, Ashley Owusu, Mimi Collins all transferred, Chloe Bibby, Kate Benson graduated, and they play small, but they switch often, and as you said, Rebecca, they force turnovers.
Yeah, you see them now in their man-to-man, but they switch 1 through 5, second possession in a row, a turnover for Iowa.
Oh, Diamond Miller swims through two and lays it in. You see that Maryland starting five tonight.
And Ryan, significant that Diamond Miller picked up that foul early. A couple of games ago, she got into foul trouble against Michigan, fouled out.
Clark, oh yeah! Off to a hot start. About a 29-footer from Caitlin Clark to get things going. Limitless range for Caitlin Clark. That jumper will not go. Rebound taken down by Martin. Good position inside. Czinano lays it in.
Great job by Monica Czinano. You know she's going to run the floor. Maryland likes to front the post, and they rely on help side on the weak side. It wasn't there yet because of transition. Beautiful pass by Gabby.
Czinano, you saw averaging over 20 over her last 4, over 18 for the season. Sellers can't get it to drop. Here comes Martin, pushing pace for Iowa. Martin dishes. Gabby Marshall thought about pulling. Now in some trouble, nearly threw it away. Caitlin Clark able to get back to it. Here is Clark. Working on Masonis. Clark looking to shake her. Clark bounces underneath. Czinano, a rare miss from that spot.
And you saw Maryland fronting and on the help side on that possession defensively.
That three won't go for Abby Myers. The transfer from Princeton, who's made a huge impact on Maryland. Clark rattles in another. A long two for Caitlin Clark.
And what you'll see from Caitlin Clark at times is getting the defensive board, and then she can just keep it and fuel their break the other way. They want to push pace as much as possible where they are most dangerous.
Masonis cannot hit. Rebound in the lap of McKenna Warnock. Oh, what a pass! Clark was able to sneak it down the floor to Marshall, who just could not quite hang on. Clark will fire. No. Hear the crowd's anticipation every time the ball is in the hands of Caitlin Clark. It's incredible. That pull-up jumper rims out for Myers. And here comes Clark for Iowa, an early 7-2 lead. Clark around the back, the kick. Marshall, short. Nice setup from Caitlin Clark. Gabby Marshall, 38% from three in her career, as Sellers hooks it in with a left hand. Cheyenne Sellers, with Brenda Frese just glowing about what Cheyenne has done this season for her team.
Especially on the offensive end of the floor. She's always been a great defender. Sophomore year, she's really upped her offensive game as well.
You could see 2Xing her scoring as Clark gets to the bucket again. Caitlin Clark with 7 early points has it going against Maryland. Pinson wasn't picked up till she was in the paint. Gets it back from 15 and knocks down the elbow J. And a timeout taken as Sellers was hit in the eye and will be tended to. We welcome all of you who have been watching the Pro Bowl skills competition. Ryan Rucco, the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe with you in Iowa City, Iowa for a terrific Big Ten matchup. Number 6 Iowa against number 8 Maryland, a 9-6 lead early on, and Caitlin Clark already with 9 points.
Simply just changing pace. She passed the ball, started cutting through the lane, and then accelerated, and her teammate found her for an easy 2.
3 rims out, long rebound, flag down, and a foul on Hannah Stuelke, just checking into the game for Iowa. Stolke's minutes had really risen over the last few games with the injury to McKenna Warnock, and she proved she's deserving of more minutes, certainly.
This is a young woman who is a really good athlete, excels when she's running the floor in transition, has good hands, can finish inside, good rebounder as well.
Great opportunity inside, but Bree McDaniel just dropped it out of bounds. Iowa basketball. Couple of turnovers apiece in the early going, each of these teams. Maryland has won the last 4 meetings between these schools. Here's Martin pedaling her way inside. Good rejection from behind, but the persistence from Czinano to work through the McDaniel block. Here's Sellers evading, taking, and finishing. Nice work from Cheyenne Sellers.
Cheyenne Sellers, 6 feet tall. Molly Davis only 5'7", so Sellers just takes her right inside and overpowers her with her size.
That floater won't go for Molly Davis. Diamond Miller on the bench at the moment for Maryland. Pull-up jumper, no good for Lavender Briggs, just checked in off the bench. Brene Alexander in as well for Maryland as Myers missed that 3 badly. Still a chance here for Maryland, though, on the offensive rebound.
A lot of subs for both of these teams early because the pace of his game has been so fast up and down.
Myers unable to finish. Hugged by Martin. Here is Clark. Drawing 2 defenders right away and drawing the foul as well. Timeout on the floor. We will keep things right here. Iowa off to a 13-8 lead on Maryland. As we will welcome you courtside. Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. Both these teams off to really good starts to their seasons. Middles as well, I guess you could say, at this point of the season.
They've had great middles.
Iowa, though, led by probably the most electrifying star in the nation, Caitlin Clark. The junior is just incredible and off to a great start tonight as well.
You certainly want your eyes on Caitlin Clark when she is on the basketball court. So fun to watch. Not only her threes and her deep range, but her ability to fill it up. She can get inside and score. Gets to the free throw line better than anybody. An exceptional passer, especially to her big inside, Monica Czinano, and then certainly brings the flair.
You see the last 2 games for Caitlin Clark, just ridiculous numbers. Meanwhile, for Maryland, they are led by someone who will certainly be a top 5 pick in this year's WNBA draft, Diamond Miller. Yeah,
Diamond Miller, 6'3", long and athletic, and she is so good when she puts the ball on the deck and goes to the rim. She's capable from 3 as well, but she excels when she uses her athletic ability, her burst of speed to get inside, and it's certainly an asset on the defensive end as well. Just over 2 steals per game for Diamond Miller.
Does it with the offense, does it with the defense. Let's send things over now to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Caitlin Clark already off to such a hard start in this game tonight. 9 early points, and she said, you know, I came out of the womb hot and swaggy. She was telling us how when she was born, her mom was like, oh my gosh, this little girl has so much personality, and we're continuing to see that on the court here. She's got so much fun. Her teammates say that this fire that she has, it lights them all up. And we're seeing that early here, whether she's taking it from 3, she's driving in the lane. She loves playing basketball. And she told us earlier that part of the reason why she grew up playing with boys, she said she was on a 4th grade boys team for most of her life and was the MVP. You can see some of that swagger and style. Here she is tonight doing a great job.
Yeah, there's a noticeable energy, pizzazz, flavor that Caitlin Clark plays with. And, you know, all she's done thus far is 9 points already in the first quarter.
Yeah, and her teammates certainly feed off of that. When you play with someone like that, it's an infectious energy, and it just makes you go into every game believing you can win because this woman is your teammate.
And that's what we just heard Holly Rowe talk about that earlier today. Monica Czinano talked about with us. She said her fire is large enough to light up the entire group. It's something palpable that the entire team truly does feed off of. There's a confidence amongst this group. There's also a burning desire to get beyond what happened last year. A second round upset at the hands of Creighton.
On their home floor.
This is a team that has Final Four aspirations and feels very connected as a group. Stuelke finds Martin, Czinano, catch and lay.
Iowa has had success off of dribble penetration and then getting the ball inside to Czinano, getting through the teeth of the defense.
That 3 a little too strong for Alexander. On the floor, Czinano grabs it. Here comes Molly Davis pushing pace. Martin dumps it underneath. Stuelke fights and finishes.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Stuelke's ability to run the floor, get down, catch a tough pass, and then finish with her left.
Stuelke, a local player from Cedar Rapids. Crowd into it. Miller back into the game, lost it. Here comes Clark. The flick ahead to Stuelke. Beautifully done.
There is quite a connection already between the junior and the freshman. Caitlin Clark, ball in her hands, head up. Stuelke once again running the floor, right in stride, catches, finishes. Iowa by 11.
Well, Brenda Freese takes a time out there. Her team has been a bit sloppy. They also taking a few early shots, maybe part of the conversation going on the bench there. 21st season at Maryland and had more change than she's probably ever had unexpectedly this offseason with the transfers Maryland dealt with, but very proud of what this group has done as Clark delivers another dime down the floor. And free throws coming for Hannah Stuelke.
Defensively, now you know, if Stuelke's on the floor, you better sprint back because she has run hard every single time and has been rewarded with passes, beautiful passes from Caitlin Clark.
Lisa Bluter, her 39th season as a collegiate head coach, 4th most wins among active head coaches. One thing she has really emphasized with her group, and they have taken to, is just how tight they are. As Stuelke airballs the free throw.
And that's not what you mean by tight.
No, no. What I mean is literally at the end of shoot around, she will grab her group together in a circle on the floor and continue to ask, how tight are you? And bring them closer together, Holly.
Well, it was really cool because they started out around the circle of the Hawkeye right on the floor, and by the end of it, they were all in a tight knot, arms around each other, and their point is, when we're this tight, we are the tightest team. We're doing it for the person to the left and the right. We're fighting for each other out here. And the players we talked to today said that feeling, that circle, that tight-knit spirit drives this team. And Lisa Bluter, I mean, it was a powerful moment to end practice with the team on the floor, shoulder to shoulder, showing just how close this team is.
And this is an Iowa team that has to play with good chemistry. I mean, when they're really good, they're assisting, they're passing to one another, setting each other up defensively. It's not a team that's necessarily going to lock you down one-on-one. They have to have good help side. They have to have that kind of connection to be successful, Holly, on both ends of the floor.
And they have had it thus far. You talk about the way they pass the basketball. They recently got 13 assists in the first quarter of a game against Penn State. A 20-10 lead here. The lefty lay is good. Sydney a falter on the finish.
And that time Maryland extended in their 1-2-2 pressure, and as you see Diamond Miller exploding to the basket. Iowa just hasn't had really much difficulty at all with Maryland's D.
Clark again. Caitlin Clark sizzling. 11 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist already. Here's Myers bodying in, tried to swim a pass underneath, could not get it there. The follow won't go, another chance, and that one draws a whistle. McKenna Warnock called for the foul. We cap the afternoon with the Big Ten matchup between Taylor Meitzell and number 10 Ohio State against Diamond Miller and number 8 Maryland.
It's a good slate of games right there. North Carolina's been playing really well after struggling for a stretch. Angel Reese, man, what a phenomenal season she has had so far, leading the nation in offensive rebounding.
Talk about player of the year conversations. Yeah. She's right at the top with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. As Warnock turns it over, Reese, of course, the Maryland transfer. Myers gets blocked by Clark out of bounds. It's going to stay here with Maryland.
See Caitlin Clark coming in from behind. That's smart. Don't get the foul call, just get the tip on the ball, save an easy 2.
Rebecca, you talked about it though. In this first quarter, I mean, Iowa has shot it at 69%, and there just have not been a whole lot of possessions where it hasn't felt like they've gotten exactly what they wanted as Caitlin Clark gets a well-earned breather.
And relatively easy looks. 16 of their 24 have come in the paint.
Marshall forces the turnover and then gets fouled, and that's a big one because it's number 2 on Diamond Miller, and she's just too important to be picking up a second foul there.
And both fouls, Ryan, now have come far from the basket. You cannot afford to get those, especially on the heels. You know, 2 games ago I mentioned it. Big game against Michigan, she was in foul trouble as well.
So Bree McDaniel will check in for Maryland. Out there with Lavender Briggs, Cheyenne Sellers, as well as Faith Massonis.
End of the quarter, Coach Bluter trying to get a little rest, extended rest for Caitlin Clark.
Renee Alexander, the 5th on the floor for Maryland. Falter. Hearing. Lost it. 7 to shoot. Looking for help. Davis trying to shoo away Massonis. Could not. Here comes Massonis, pushing pace for Maryland. Poke from behind. Stuelke, this time showing her wheels on the defensive end.
And already Caitlin Clark coming back in. Lisa Bluter clearly didn't like that last possession offensively, but you can't say enough good things about Stuelke. Wow. And her potential, this is a freshman. And we've seen her run hard on the offensive end. Look at her, head down, full sprint, saves the layup. Okay, how do you earn more minutes on the floor by playing like that?
Stuelke went to high school the same place that Maryland head coach Brenda Fries did at Cedar Rapids, Washington. Not too far away from Iowa City. Coach Fries with a ton of family and friends in attendance tonight. Oh, again, a falter, able to get right to the rim.
The one possession Caitlin Clark wasn't on the floor, things looked hard offensively for Iowa.
They looked easy again?
They looked easy again.
26-16, Iowa in front. Sellers, nice look inside, and the easy finish for Alexander. Shot clock turned off. Clark facing some pressure in the backcourt. Breaks it easily. Warnock says, all right, I'll take the layup, plus the foul. No need to wait for a final shot when you're given the free bucket.
Iowa has simply been dominant in the paint. They have gotten so many easy looks inside. They've had no problem at all with Maryland's defense so far.
Iowa's hit 7 of its last 8 shots. They have 20 points in the paint in the first quarter. I think Caitlin Clark was trying to say she got hit in the head on the pass. Lisa Bluter was expressing something of that nature as well.
Displeasure?
Yeah, I think
Oh, they're going to
displeasure's
go to the
fair.
monitor.
Yeah, our officials, Lisa Jones, Jesse Dickerson, Frank Sterator. Let's take a look, Rebecca.
Oh, here we go. This one's close up. It looks to me like Seller's arm is up, and if anything, it's kind of Clark jumping into it. So
We're gonna get an
doesn't look like
explanation
anything,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, so they're checking to see if there was an unobserved foul, but to me that doesn't look like anything other than Seller's arms up and Caitlin potentially a little bit jumping into it.
Obviously, Iowa happy that the foul was not called at the moment of the contact,
Yeah, right,
as
right.
Warnock finished the layup and has a free throw coming to try and complete the three-point play. One thing this does do is it gives Caitlin Clark a little extra rest.
Yeah, good point.
Going into the end of the first quarter, Clark has been terrific. Starting off this game, 11 points on 5 of 6 shooting, 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Her last 2 games, she has averaged a 30-point triple-double.
And as impressive as Iowa's been on the offensive end, and they've been impressive, shooting 68%. So important for them to be solid defensively. They don't ever have issues scoring points. When they lose, it's because they're having issues on the defensive end, and they've done a great job here today against Maryland. Maryland only shooting 30% so far.
Now, just considered a basketball play. Had
Yeah.
they come back with something, it would have been an intentional foul. But that was not observed.
Yeah.
Either live or on replay.
Right.
It remained unobserved. 3-point play completed. Here's Cook. 3 seconds left. Cook gives it up. Masonis. Will it count? Off back iron, would have counted, no good for Briggs. That's the end of the first quarter, and Caitlin Clark delivering for Iowa in that opening frame.
Caitlin Clark certainly came to play first quarter. We've seen it from outside. She's got 11 points, 5 of 6, unselfish with the ball as well. There she goes.